Hey everybody, it's Mark, Hothead Thundermouth here. Quick introduction to this playthrough of the Ancient Kings treasure chest. Uh, you'll see I've got a three-way scenario here, Romans versus Huns and Parthians, Persians. These guys are going to be fighting for survival after a Roman surprise attack. So this is going to show a couple of things I've put together. Keep in mind this is a play test of a sandbox scenario. That happens a lot with Wizard Kings. If you're going to try to create something, you've got to put together sort of a storyline, a backstory, and what the goal is here. So it's kind of a working creation, but it does showcase the game and how fun it can be. So I hope you enjoy this. And without further ado, let me take you to the rest of the video. Thanks for watching.
All right, hi everybody. Hopefully most of you have watched that video. The intro of this particular scenario, now just to remind you here, these Romans in red, got some legions and some auxiliaries here, are going to be marching towards the Hunnish territory in Argosia. And the whole idea behind the victory conditions is that they try to push them off the continent. And the hard part of that is going to be to take Livonia. There's only one peninsula that you can advance along to try to cross that road. So they're going to need some naval support or air support. I'm not so sure there's a lot of that available. Certainly not the air support, as there's no air units in ancient Roman times. So it may be that as an alternative VC, I could declare that if they clear this one as well, that would work. Even so, that's still going to require some work to be able to get enough points down there, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so over here are the Parthians, as you can see. Not the whole territory is being shown. So as we look at the sequence of play, what we're doing is a special sequence of play for the first turn. The Romans are going to get the initiative immediately, and then there's a move phase, after which a combat phase and a build phase. We're skipping the build phase and the initiative phase, and we're going straight into movement. So here what you need to do is look at these terrain effects. It's a very simple game. If you're crossing a sea or lake hex side, 2 units, clear 2 units, okay, on the hex side limits. On the roads, let me see. Yeah, the roads really don't help on the hex side limits. They do give you 2. It says it's automatically 2. So let's do some moves here. I'll show you how that works very quickly. So we've got some navies here. Let's zoom in a bit so you can see some of this action on this front here. Okay, there's the... All right. There's the naval unit here. And it's got a movement of 3, so we can go 1, 2, 3 to here. We've got 2 clear hex sides to go in here. That's what this force is trying to do. We're going to send in 2 legions and the cavalry, and to hopefully wipe that out right away. This auxilia is a mountain auxilia, so it's going to come up next to the mountains and go there. Let's see. On this front, we can send this aquatic auxilia. There we go. You can see that it's got a swamp symbol, so it can cross over the river. And Caesar himself will come across the bridge, which has a hex side limit of 1. And here I've got, this is a forest legion, so he won't be able to cross these roads. So he'll move over there, so he'll be able to hopefully cross over that way next time. All right, that's all we've got on that front. Very simple. Let's move to the Parthian front. And here we got the Roman sneak attack. Here we got these two centaurs. One can go 1, 2, 3 straight through the woods with a speed of 3. This one will come through the road hex side with the priests. And then over here, same idea. We got 2 navvies that can come across that hex side. Can we see this? Yes. They can cross right over, and then this flamen goes across the bridge. So that's the sneak attack. Now I'm playing with some optional rules on initiative here. And so the way the initiative works, I've written it down someplace here, but basically when you normally roll for initiative, the side that has a flyer gets to add 1. The side that has a particular unit that works in that hex terrain also gets to add 1. This would be a city. However, in this first turn, there won't be any initiative rolls because the Romans will get it. If the attacker wins by 3 or more on d6 versus the defender, they get to attack first in every combat round. If it's not more than 2 for the defender, in which case the defender gets to attack first, then it's a simultaneous combat. This really frees up how this game plays out. Okay. So, and I think that's really necessary. And one of the things I commented on before, and is really probably worth taking a quick look at, here's a summary sheet I got off of probably Board Game Geek. And each of these turns represents a month. So one turn is about a week in this game. The scale of the game, represented by the moon phases here, shows that it's about a month of movement. So in a month, you could probably go a few hundred miles or so. So these aren't full continents, but they're the scope of I don't know, maybe a small country like Greece or something like that. And this sheet is pretty handy. It shows you some of the things that you get and the combat effects. So anyway, let's start now because it's easy to dial in. We'll do this sneak attack first. So the Romans, having the initiative here, will get to fire first no matter what. So these are both galleys. We've got, actually this is a galley, Parthian galley or Persian galley, and an Assyrian sort of shield and spearman type. And I've got the 2 centaurs at B. These are B3s, and the flamen is also a B. So the flamen has a special spell as the Romans, and that's what we're particularly interested in here. If you look at this chart, you can see the Neptune spell. Neptune, okay, costs 1 point. God of the sea brings a storm to the Flamen's hex. Enemy ships lose 1d3 in steps, which means we rotate the flamen. There's no A's in this attack. Everything's a B, which is equal or better to the things in the Parthians hex, so they all get to shoot first. And I roll the die, and with a 4, 2 steps of ships are lost. 1, 2, that's even before the combat starts. And now that ship, which is a B, can't retreat yet. It gets to shoot because, no, it doesn't get to shoot yet because I still have B3s for the centaurs. Now these centaurs, okay, are in forest. And one could argue that the terrain is also city. So I would say in this game, in this case, city defenders would get a +1 on their combat, but these attackers also get a +1 on the first round of combat. So they're B4s, and I've got 6 steps of that. Okay, that's quite a bit. Yes, and so the B4, even with a B3, I took out 4 steps. So, but it's actually 5 steps. That kills everything that's there. So that's it for those guys. Now I can regroup. A regroup means they can adjust 1 hex. I think it will be a good idea. Stacking limits can be ignored when you do this, and hex side limits are ignored as well. So I'll put the centaurs to guard these roads there to keep the Parthians from having an easy attack. But I want to keep a guy back here in Bendale so I can get the point of build when that comes up. All right, so there's that attack. Now let's go to this next one. Below this, same situation. We got the Flamans. These are both galleys at B2. So let's try the Flamans attack. Reduces them by 1. And their roll is a 3. Oh, it wasn't a red die. Anyway, that's 2 steps of galleys. So flip and flip. Now my galleys attack at B2. There's no advantage to galleys in any kind of hex, except if I guess it was all C. Perhaps they get a +1, but I don't think so. Aquatics don't get pluses for being in the ocean. So here we go. So we've got B2, and I get to roll 6 dice. So here we go. 6 dice. And I rolled 2 hits, so an average amount. I rolled 2 2s. So these guys then each lose a step. But there's some remnants. Now you can't retreat on the first turn of a combat. So the galleys do fire back with B2s. And that's what they rolled, they missed. So now we're in round 2 of the combat. The Flamen could reduce himself 1 more time to do an attack. He's also got some other spells here. Volcanic eruptions. That's good in the mountains. Fire and retreat. Yeah, well, we'll do another Neptune. Let's see if we can get rid of those guys. Just a 2, though, so 2 result. Oops, sorry, it was a 2. Just 1 galley. And then now my B galleys, 6 of them shoot. B2 results. And I rolled 3 hits, so that galley's gone. And now I can regroup these guys. Okay. So, as you can see, there's no path. Let me zoom back out. There's no path for these fleets if they wanted to go and help out on the other side of the shore. We could play that, well, maybe they'd be allowed to move off map 1, 2, 3 to here so that they can get into that ocean. Seems reasonable enough if I needed them. Otherwise, I think the Romans would have a hard time winning this game. Okay? But that's for later. I don't even know if it would matter if we've got a 10-turn game. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so that's 3 turns, 4 turns, 5 turns, 6 turns. Yeah, they could get down there for the attack. So we'll allow that later on. Okay, so regrouping. I think we'll just keep everybody in here. Maybe I want to cover that bridge, though. So I guess we'll put the Flamen out there to block the bridge, but he's going to be wiped out later. Over on this side, we've got Caesar attacking. These spearmen. Okay, so again, automatic initiative. Caesar's got an A3 in cities. This is not a city, so he's an A3. He gets 4 shots. And he missed. And then the Auxilia is a C versus a C. So the Auxilia gets to shoot. He only has a C1, not any ones. And it's a complete whiff. So that wasn't so good. And let's go ahead and get the C1 shots back by the spearmen. They're taking a look around. Now these spearmen are forest spearmen. So actually they get a C2. So this attack might get beaten back. Let's see what happens here. And it is 1 hit. So they'll have to take 1 hit on this Auxilia. Okay. That would, if they'd gotten 2 hits, 1 for each. So the Caesar better shoot better. It's round 2. He's got 4 shots at 3s. And this time he does get 2 hits. So this guy gets reduced down to 1. And then if I can roll a 1 with my Auxilias, actually, these are aquatic Auxilias. They're not in the pond yet, or the marshes. They're just in forest, so they need 1s. Always should check that terrain thing. They missed. And this guy is going to retreat back to here. I can regroup, which lets me put him in there. And that's it for that attack. We got one more attack here. Okay. Here they've got an A, the Scudars. So because it's an A, it gets to shoot first, and it's an A2. It's a city, so it's an A3. So the Scudars, so you can see these Huns are pretty good. They've got A3 shooting at the invaders. And I rolled 2 hits, like that. So we've got to take them equivalently, and both of them all have to come off the legions. That hurts. These legions are very powerful. Okay, now we go to my B. It's a forest B. That's clear terrain. So it's got a B2 with 3 steps. Oh yes, the cavalry charged in and got 2 hits, leaving 1 Scudar left, whatever a Scudar is. And now the legions, both of these legions are city legions, so they're C4s. So I've got 6 C4s coming back at these guys. And wow, every single thing was a hit. So the Scudar is wiped out. Okay? And now these guys can regroup. This Auxilia, yeah, I might want to put this Auxilia in here. And put the Equus on the other side like that. Okay. This guy here is a mountain Hunbo though, so I might want to sneak attack across there. That's it for the special first turn of attacks. So we can keep track of the turns up here. We have no lycanthropes, so the phase of the moon doesn't matter. So that's the end of turn 1. So now we're in turn 2, and now we initiate the regular sequence of play. Okay, so the first step in the sequence of play is initiative. I'm going to take 1 die. I think it's 1 die. Let me check. Is it 2 dice or 1 die? No, they have to roll 2d6. Okay. So I'll take 2 red dice, 2 green dice, and a 2 brown dice. Roll for initiative. Okay, so the Romans rolled a 6, a 9 for, so the Huns won the initiative. Highest total wins and moves first. So focus in on the Huns, they get to move first. So what do they want to do? That's a very good question. As you can see, they've got this Hun bow here. Now, if they go across here and attack that, they can do that. But these guys can react to that. So, since they're on the defensive, it may not prove useful to do that. Here, we'll just hold our ground and Jura, try to get these spears up. These are aquatic, these are marsh spearmen, okay? But I don't have a lot of steps, so I'm just gonna hold back and grow all of these guys back here. These are reinforcements that I need. Okay, so what do I want to do then? That's a very good question. Now, I wouldn't always know this, but see, these are forest, these are aquatic, and these are city, so nobody's crossing these mountains. I don't have to worry about holding the gray henge. So these guys are good in forest. We'll stay there. These guys are good in forest. This is clear. But these are Hun bows, and they're very good. So what we'll do is we'll keep the warlord back here with the camp. Now, the interesting thing is these camps are mobile for the Huns. Let's see, let me show you that. Here, a camp has a movement speed of 2. Most of these types of city units can't even move. So that's kind of helpful because it's a sort of a cheap unit for the Huns. The Huns generally don't have a lot of that, but we're going to leave it back here to help protect the warlord, and we're going to move these Hun bows and the shamans up here to form a very difficult, this is one of the things you got to watch out about here, to form a good defense like this. And yeah, that's going to be it for the Huns movement. So since it goes around in a circle, the next is going to be the Parthian movement. So that particular initiative result was probably the worst one that you could see for the Romans. So let's go back over here and check out the Persians, Parthians. And what do they want to do? Well, we've got these 2 rocks. These are flyers, and they can enter regardless of hexide limits. It's just a stacking limit that they have to worry about. So I think it will be a good idea to counterattack here with these 2 rocks flying in, and then come along the road with perhaps a cheap Syrian here. 1, 2, 3. A city Assyrian. And then over here, these guys are full strength. So they can come along the road. 1, 2. They could get in, but I don't have enough movement to get in. One of these is aquatic. So yeah, 1, 2. They'll move up to here. Valcor, we can cross over. We definitely want to guard Karakhan from these centaurs. So centaurs could run around this direction. There's no supply in this game, so that's kind of a nice feature, makes it easy. Yeah, what we'll do is I'm going to block this with something strong. So let's use elephants, the magus, and even the satrap, and let this guy come back up to help guard that. Leave this guy back here. Okay, so they've initiated a combat. Now I can reinforce this combat. As the Romans, they are moving last, so in some cases it's good to move last. I really don't know if I want to risk those navies. So I think what we'll do is we're going to need those navies to go around the edge there. So we're going to move the navies back. Yeah, I should keep this hex. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll move these guys by C up to here. They came from this part of Rome, this Roman city. And we'll move the navies out. And we got to get those down around the edge. And this guy we're going to say goodbye to. We're on the defensive over here. So do I want to go in with these guys? These are B3s into a open hex. He's got A2s and B3s. Or do we want to hold them off a little bit more? I think we will not risk them in combat yet and move them back to here. Okay, now the Romans on this front have to bust through. They don't really have any choice. So they're going to be moving up here. Again, we have a limit of 2, so Caesar and the Legion. Well, we better blast our way through here. That could be a tough fight. A tough fight indeed. Hopefully we'll win the initiative on that, but we got to do it. We got to do it. Okay, this aquatic guy can only regroup. Okay. Over here, we got these guys. These are mountain auxiliars. So he'll be able to come across here. 1, 2. All right. These two guys, the legions or the equus. The legions are both city style. This spear should only be a 1, actually. This Navi is going to try to come and take that up here. We zoom out. So the Navi moved from here. He's going to try to take this out. Should be possible. Leaving whatever I want to commit to this. I can commit 2 more guys. These legions. You know, put the legions in. Now I'll leave 1 legion back. And I'll commit the equus and another legion into the fight. So this is going to be a key fight. I'm not really sure I can win this as the Romans. Okay. These guys are going to stay back here to rebuild. Okay, so that's it. That's all of the moves. So the combats that were initiated by the Huns are done first. They initiated no combats. Then the combats initiated by the Parthians are next. And they initiated 1 combat over here. This is the combat for this frontier hex across the Ronin Bridge. So first we roll for initiative. So let me get this better positioned like that. You can sort of see it right there. Okay. So we have a flyer, so they get to add 1 to the initiative. And we have a clear hex, so that's the only addition to the initiative. So 1 die, 1d6 for initiative. The Romans rolled a 6, and they rolled a 4. So the Romans, as the defender, got the initiative, so they get to do the first attack. Now, they can't retreat, so this Flamen might as well make a parting shot. Pluto would add some additional steps, but I don't have anybody else in there. Mars causes enemy units to make a terror roll. And a terror roll, I'm going to find that rule just a second. So it's a 50-50 chance that any unit would have to retreat on a terror roll. I could use Neptune again, but that's pretty useless. Vulcan, a volcanic eruption. 4F2 loss. It's an automatic loss. I guess 4F2. All right, and then Mercury. All Flamen can retreat on the next turn. That doesn't do me any good at all. Okay, so 4F2, 1 second. Yeah, 4F2 means 4D6 at a strength of 2. That's pretty good. That's the best they're going to do. So they'll cast a Vulcan ritual, Vulcan prayer, and 4 dice at F2. See what they can do to take some of these guys out. Blam. And they rolled nothing. Nothing. Sorry, Flamen. And now, technically, though, I did that in the wrong order because still, it wouldn't even matter. The A's would still fire first. So we've got 4 A's at 2. That would have fired first anyway. Let's see what happens. They all missed. Then the Flamen missed. And all that's left are the Assyrians. So the Assyrians have a C1 with 4 strength. And they failed to roll a 1 as well. So there was a very null and void combat. All right, so the next turn, the first thing that happens is the 4A2s. Again, the Griffins will attack. Let's see if we can get some effects around here. Yep, 1 step is enough to kill the Flamen. So off you go. Okay. And since they won, they can regroup. I think they'll regroup the Assyrian back to the city. All right. They'll protect it. Yeah, I'm not so sure I want those guys up there by themselves. So we'll retreat both of those guys back as well. That will keep us safe. The Assyrian unit will help keep us safe from harm. Okay, now we got the initiated combats by the Romans over here. Let's start with the Navi attack. They come in as a B2 versus a C1, so we don't need to roll initiative in this case. So the B2 comes in. I need a 2. I got a 2. So that's enough to kill the spearmen here. And the Navi will take that city. That's very crucial. Okay, then we'll slip over to this side. And on this side, we will have to roll initiative. We have a city, they have a city guy, and we're in a city. So there's no initiative adjustment. Romans have to win by 3. The Huns only have to win by 2. And it's a 3-3, so it's a regular attack. So I have the A3 first, but it's an A4 because the Caesars are good at seizing. Let's just say sieging rather than seizing. Stupid play on words there. All right, here we go. Blammo. 3 out of 4 hits. Nice. So you can see there's a dice bucket system. That's what they rolled. So wow, 3 hits. And they're all going to have to be taken on the sword. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Okay, now they've got C2s. And this is a simultaneous shot. So I've got 2 C2s. Sorry, 1 C2 and 1 C1. So we use an orange die and a brown die. Orange die is for the C2. Brown die for the C1. This is simultaneous, though. This is we'll just roll the defenders first. They gacked it with 2 6s. And now I've got a C3. Ooh, it's a legion. It's a forest legion, though. Well, they had a city. That was going to actually be a C3, but he still missed. Okay, and this is a C4. You see these Romans can press the attack if they can win initiative or dodge bullets here. And that gives 2 hits. That's it, taken down. Okay, and the Romans are making progress on that flank. And we'll regroup by bringing this auxilia into the hex. So, in very good shape there. Okay, now the key battle. This can be really, really brutal. This is out in the open, so there's no initiative advantages. There's no flyers to do scouting. So again, straight up initiative roll. And the defenders, this could be brutal. The defenders won the initiative by beating them by more than 2. 2 or more is what they have to do. So that gives them the initiative on every level. Now I've got B's and C's, and I've got the Hun bows anyway. They were going to shoot first no matter what. Okay, so 7 at A2. This could really hurt the Roman cause over here. Maybe they shouldn't have done this attack. 7 at A2. Let's gather up enough dice for this. So I have actually 10 dice of each color, but not necessary to roll. Here's the result. 7 at A2. Oh, who's crying? Who's crying? You shall see who is crying. The Romans took 6 hits from the Hun bows. They were waiting for them. So 6 hits. We can take 2 from the auxilia. 1, 2. Then we can take 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 1 more legionary. I guess we'll take the city legionary for 4. Oh, that was brutal. Okay, now the bees fire, and they've got a shaman. So let's see what the Hun gods can do. So, terror roll for all animal units. God of War's useless. Daba. Daba is summon wolves. No. Scourge of the Gods. Scourge of the Gods sends 1d3 forest demons, each firing 3f2. Goddess of Love brings peace. No. Yeah, we'll bring in the forest demons. 1d3 forest demons. 3. I rolled 3 forest demons. 3 forest demons. That's reduce the shaman by 2 first. Okay. 3f3. 3f2. Okay, 3 dice at f2. Attack. And I rolled a 5, a 5, and a 2. So that's going to be 1 more hit on this legion here. So the Romans have been nearly evaporated. Now they all get to attack back at this point. So they've got Equus. These are all clear terrain, so there's no special terrain. So it's a B2 for the Equus. And then the legions, I've got an auxilia. Let's see, 1. Okay, so I've got green for the B2. Oh. Well, it was an interesting roll, but as it turns out, only the legion got a hit. They'll have to do it on this Hun bow. So now we have the second round of combat. And again, now we've got 6 of these A2s. They roll like they did last time. But I didn't have to come close to that to do some serious damage. And they did it again with 4 hits. And there we go. The Roman army is gone. Well, well, well. Okay. So that's probably going to end the scenario. We'll continue to play it a little bit. A lot of times these things can get over very quickly, but that's what's fun about it. So now that you can regroup, they do have a mountain bow. I'm going to go ahead and regroup it across the mountains. These Hun bows and the shaman will stay where they are. Okay. Very interesting. So that's the end of turn 2. Now we have builds. So the way we're handling builds is we take the dice. I'm going to get my extra dice out here from my kit. And the Huns will build first since they were first. So what can they build? Well, they've got 3 factors here that they can build something. So what they lost before was a sword. I could build something that's new over here, but I'm just going to build. Let's go ahead and zoom out. So 3 in this city. They can build 3 factors. A spear costs 1 and a sword costs 2. So they'll build those 2 units in Lamona. Here they've got 2 and they've got a spear, so we'll build the spear up to 3. And here they've got 1, so they'll build the spear up to that. Okay, over here, so just for the ease of doing things, we'll do the Romans first, because the Romans actually took 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not like it's quite over. So they will build. Let me see what these guys can build over here. Hang on. So they can build an auxilia here at Fall. Here they get 1 point. That's a legion. To rebuild the legion, that's going to cost quite a bit, and I don't think I have any auxilias left in the force pool over here. Just have a quick look. Don't have anything that costs 1 anymore. Oh, I could build a fortress. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So we'll build a Roman camp for 1 here. Those are pretty good. They're cheaper than most camps are. That's one thing the Romans are good at doing, is building camps. Okay, then over here, we've got all full strength units except for the auxilia. So we'll build 1 auxilia point, and the camp would be immobile. So what we can also do is I use these to represent points. These can move up to 2 hexes. 1 piece of gold right there. Okay. Over here, this fortress is here. Do they have another fortress to build? Yeah, they can build a fortress here. We don't want the Huns running amok for free anyway. So they'll build a fortress there. Auxilia can build up by 1 down in the bottom. And then we've got the bottom units here. So I don't even know if I can get all the way down. Yep. So they built a fortress here, and they built up this guy by 1, and they got 1 here. I think what we'll do is we'll just simply put 1 die here. Okay. And then over here, the Romans also, sorry for jerking around here a bit. The Romans also have a city here and here. So they'll build up their auxilia by 1 to 2. And here, they don't really have it. They could build a fortress there. That's not a bad idea. I think I have 1 of those left someplace. What did I do with it? Legion, Flamen, Ballista. I can build a ballista here. And then, where's my extra fortress? Oh, I used it already. So we'll build just 1 point here. Okay, I'll use the white dice. And so now we're over to the Spartans. And the Spartans, what can they build? They've got an Assyrian in Rhoda. Build that up by 1. They lost some stuff here. They built another Assyrian here. Actually here. They'll use a die back here in Lyman. They got 2 in Valcor. So they can build something interesting there, perhaps. Fortress. Scudar belongs to them. No, they can't quite build an immortal yet. They can build an immortal here. That's what they'll do. The immortals are pretty good ground troops. And here they'll just build another Assyrian. Get some feet on the ground, boots on the ground. Randomly picked, that one. Okay, that's it for the build phase. And that's it. So let's check the sequence of play. Make sure we did everything. Initiative, move phase, combat phase, build phase. That's it. Very simple game. Lovely game. Really fun to play. And now we're going to be moving on to yet one more turn. We'll play it out and see what happens. The Romans got beat back, so their chances of taking the city here are not looking good. But they did take this island, so that can be a mitigating factor. Yeah, we're going to have to... I might be able to do something along these lines. They got to do something to defeat the Huns in detail, but the Huns are really tough. And I did remove a whole Hunbo from their order of battle, but it's really tough to match those A2s. They start rolling like that. I don't think anybody can beat them. So we'll move on to turn 3 for the next segment. All right, here we are for turn 3. So I'm going to do the initiative roll for each of these 3 and see what we come up with here. Who's going first? All right. Romans rolled a 7. And again, it's the Romans last because I rolled a 9 with these guys, so they're first. So what do we want to do? We've been cut off from this island. Okay, we can still do sea transport to this island. We certainly don't want to lose that. And I don't know if spearmen are going to be enough. So we'll send... It's going to be funny, but we can send this camp over there. That camp will help defend it. Okay, so we'll do that. Then here, I've lost a couple of shamans. So I'm going to send the shaman back for replenishment. Which I would say means, it's very tempting to attack that. I've got the wolves, and we're going to go ahead and go in for that. 2 come in this way, and that one comes in that way. That pins these 2 guys there. However, I've got nothing to guard against them, but that's just how it is. Now, we're going to take a look at our good friends, the Parthians, or the Persians in this case, and see what they want to do. So, obviously, they can cross over and take this. They've also got the flyers here, so they could also fly in, but not all of that's not necessary. I think we can just do this with, these 2 guys can go in from that side. And if I've got any woods people here, no, I got flyers. So I got to watch out about those centaurs. Not so sure we want to try to go in on them. Don't have the right positioning. I've got a mountain guy here with a speed of 2. He can't get across that mountain. So I need to readjust these forces accordingly. So these guys will stay back. They're being built. We can send these guys out into the forest, a stacking limit of 3. We'll send the griffins there along with, do I have a forest guy? I just don't. There's no road between these two. We'll send these Assyrians in then. And then here, we can send this Assyrian, which is a mountain Assyrian, and he's not really ready to go yet. Let's put these guys in the forest hex. Here, stacking of 3. Okay? You gotta remember that the stacking in a forest hex, forest woods hex or forest hex limit is 3. Okay? So, that's really all we can do there. So we'll do it like that. And now the Romans get to move. There's not much that they can do. They'll continue to guard this. Continue to send these. These shoals make it hard for these navies to go anywhere. Let's go over here to the Roman side. So I just moved these guys over to here. There should have been one there too. I don't think I put a dice there. Okay, so we can use these dice. We'll move the dice at the end. Okay, ballistas. This die can be used to create a flamen when I build that up. So the centaurs are in full strength. Question is, I'm going to definitely be cut off there pretty quickly if I stay. So I don't think it's worth staying. This guy's pinned. Let's get out of here. This can go 1, 2, 3. This can go 1, 2, 3 to protect myself from that. It's just not going to be worth trying to fight that. So you can see that the Parthians are threatening us. Now over here, these guys are pinned, but I've got some moves here with these guys if I want to take them. I probably should. Marshes. I might be able to take that with a marsh. 1, 2, that auxilia can go in there. Yeah, we'll defend this with a legion. I just don't have enough troops. Really. Don't have enough troops to do everything I want to do. Yeah, let's see. I think we're going to have to send this auxilia to fight that auxilia without the Caesar. Well, I guess this still occupies the hex, so we'll leave that there. So we'll send the auxilia and the Caesar down here to get into battle on turn 3. That's it. So, not looking good for the Romans this turn. Let's focus in on the first battle up here. Zoom in at 2. So in they come. It's a city. I've got a city guy. They do not. So I get to add 1 to my initiative roll as the Romans, and they definitely get the initiative, so they get to attack first. However, that's not going to help them when they have C's, and we got the Hun bowmen coming in. These guys are just awesome. So they took some hits, but they're coming in, and then there's a wolf. So they'll be able to attack after the Hun bowmen. The Hun bowmen attack with A2 with 6 dice. So it sounds pretty deadly to me. And they get an average of 2 hits, but 2 hits is 2 hits. Ill affordable. 2 Legion hits. Okay. And then the wolf. See, these B's are and A's are, it doesn't matter what the initiative is, really. They're going to come in and blast them. The wolves come in, and they get a B2 with 4 steps. And 1 hit. Hurrah! So, what do I have left? I guess I'll keep the Legion, as the Legion can now defend with a C4. 1 die. Can they get something? They can. So, we have to take it on the wolves. Oh, the wolves take a hit. Okay, round 2. This should end it. 6 of these Hun bows. Flechettes. Yep, that's it. And then they can redeploy. So what would they do? And keep the... I don't know if they really need to redeploy. Well, the Hun bows could move 3. They can go in and probably take that castle. All of these guys can. The wolves are 3. All of them are 3s. So they can go like this. That's their city, so they'll get to build a point there anyway. And that's a dramatic victory for the Huns. So coming back over here, there's only 1 more attack. And it's also a pretty bad situation for the Romans. All they've got is the Flamen. He's a C. These guys are Bs, so there's no reason to roll initiative. It's one of the things about the initiative. It may not make as much difference as I think. Who knows? Okay, so. Right, we've got B2s from the Immortals. And their swamps. And the Magus. We'll do this guy first. See if he can just take him out. 3 at a B2. And yeah, 2 hits. That Auxilla is gone. And that's cleared up. So now they can advance that way. You can see the Parthians are now on the march. It's looking pretty bad for the Romans. And that's the end of the turn. Let's do the builds. I'll halt the tape here for a second while I figure that out. Okay, everybody's built up. And now we're into turn 4. These games do go quickly. Maybe that's why they have everything 10 turns. I always question that. Alright, so here we go again. Who goes first? And it's the initiative roll. Oh, it looks like the Romans pulled it off this time. They rolled an 11. So the Romans get to move first. Very important. So we'll get started on that. Romans here. Oh, I forgot to build that Auxilla up. Okay. Yeah, these guys are going to go in. Actually, the way to do it would be this Auxilla and go here because the hex side limit on swamp is 1. So they go in like this. We're happy here. Over here, these navies, they can't cross the shoal, so they're going to go 1, 2, 3. You could actually stop in here to fight. Okay. And here, these are, how many woods do they have? 2 woods guys. Ah, jeez. Let's see. Let's move the Flamen back here. I'll send these two by sea to here. And that will stay there. Actually, it could come over here. 1, 2, 3. Try to build up something important there. Okay, and now these guys go. So I could reinforce this. Could reinforce it with a camp. I'm not so sure sea movement allows it into an enemy hex. 1 second. Now we can't do sea transport into a battle hex, so that's out. So what do we need to do? Well, we probably want to stop these legions from coming up. Did I actually build anything here? I'm not so sure that I did. Yeah, the Shaman came back to be rebuilt 2 and then a sword. Yeah, you gotta watch out. You gotta make sure you do all your builds. It's easy to forget. Okay, and yeah, I just built this spear here. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he won't be able to reach that. So these guys are free to attack. Although if they do that, yeah, we'll send them. We'll keep a Hunbo here. Actually, and we'll send these 2 Hunbos, 1, 2, 3, and 4 down to there. What do I want to send up that way? A warlord and a spear. Something like that. Because those guys already moved. They'll be able to build. And I should be able to transfer. And we'll send the camp over here. Okay, so there we go. That's their moves. And now, over here, for the very threatening green units, they can come up. They really need to rebuild their navies, but for now, they can come up here. Griffins will fly to there. These guys can move. The elephants can move 2, 3, and the satrap 1, 2, 3. Something along these lines. I'm gonna have to cross over that. Send the magus there. These Assyrians are city units, so they'll go there. This magus is at full strength. Along with the immortals, they'll go up here. This Assyrian's at full strength, so he'll go 1, 2, 3. This immortal will cross over to there. And these Assyrians are full strength now, so they'll go 1, 2, 3. These guys will wait 1 more turn. And that is it. So combats on turn 4. Not as many combats. We've got 1 initiated by the Romans down here. Okay, we go in. And we got C, so we do need to do an initiative roll. It's going to be +1 for both sides. So let's just see what it is. 6 to 4. Nope, there's no initiative. But the Caesar hits first with an A4 into the city. Wow. Okay. That can shut down the enemy pretty good, but so far the Caesar hasn't been fighting really well. Yeah, he got only 2 hits. Not that that's anything to sneeze at. And then the spear shoots back with a C1. Misses. And then I've got my auxiliaries. Oh, it's actually a C2, but he still missed. And my auxiliaries coming through the swamps also get a C2. And 2 hits. So, bam. And that is conquered for us. And we will send the Caesar back this way because he's going to be needed for something else than holding that city. So, that's that combat. We got one more where they attacked and they're coming in. I've got a fortress at C3, it's a C3 fortress. Hun bows are an A and a B, so they will attack first. Wolves at a B2 and an A2. So let's get these yellows for the B2 and those for the A2. And it's a quick game, isn't it? All right, so B2's got nothing. A2's only got 1 hit. That's not bad. Fortress sitting there at a C3. Did he extract some revenge? No. And now we have the same attack again. Fortress can't go anywhere. And that's going to do it. Okay, so that's the end of the fortress. And we'll take it. I think, yeah. Do we have a mountain unit? No. We can't quite take that city, so we'll just sit there like that. And that's the end. Let's do the build phase. Okay, so we finished off building these guys. And they're saving up to build navies up here. So I'm going to send all those things that way. So that's pretty much the build. And it is now turn 5. So we'll see where things stand after turn 5. Romans haven't done a bad job, but they've lost a city they need to take back, and that could be a problem. So we'll see. We shall see. I do this? Yeah. Only 1 step there. I need to get those navies around to the back. I have to go around they have to start in Cape Mars. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Starting Cape Mars, it's 1, 2, 3. They go out to sea. So that's where they want to start. All right. Okay, so let's check out the initiative as before. All right, and let's see what we got here. And, I rolled too many Roman dice. Let's re-roll that. Ooh, 11s, 10s, and 10s. Well, that was all high rolls, but it turns out that these guys, the Huns, are first. So what shall the Huns do? They're kind of in defensive mode now. They've lost all their cities. They took this one back. So they want to probably make sure they keep that and then come down and take that. So they can come and capture that and move it to here. So they'll go dink, dink. Okay. And that is now their city. I think I'll move I'll move a camp up here. Okay. Keep these guarded like that. That's a defensive mode there. They're really just trying to basically at this point the Huns want to hang on to this city and these cities that they've stolen from the Romans here. If the Romans can get these back, then there's a chance that they can go ahead and win. But it's not looking good for the Romans, especially with the Parthians coming in over here. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so they're done moving. Now the Parthians move. Okay, so we're going to send the 2 griffins across. This is going to be a huge battle here. We need to send the very best units we have, but can't send more than 1. Do I have a mountain unit over here? No. No mountain units are around. This guy is, but he's too far away. So, I send in the Immortals at B2. Yeah, we'll send in the Elephants. Elephants versus Centaurs. That sounds pretty good. Okay. And then the Satrap will wait. If this was a city hex, I might want to send in the Satrap. Satrap is not going to go in. This mountain unit here is going to go 1, 2, 3. So we need to set this up for the next batch of guys coming in here. Oh, let's see. He's going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's a bit of a bottleneck for these guys at the moment to get across. We need to take a city. Those griffins can do it. They're going to be fighting the centaurs. That's going to be a heck of a battle right there. That could decide the fate of things over here for some time. These guys are staying. These guys will come up. 3. They're staying there. And those guys, this guy will stay back here. And he'll come up. All right. That's them. Now the Romans get to go. And they could put the Flamen in there to help. I think we need to do that. Flamen will go in. All right, so we're now looking at this battle down here. Flamen came from here to there. What are we going to do about this? This is pretty severe. I've got the 2 navies and a ballista, but the ballista is going to have to take the long way to the city. So the ballista would cross over here for a sea move. We'll keep the legion there. The 2 navies will go 1, 2, 3 to block that off. 2, 3. I don't know. Do I want to get into that area with wolves and stuff? Yeah, we don't need to. We'll go here. Okay. Nothing I can do to send in over here. Then over here, yep, we need to get the Auxilia up here. 1, 2. That guy's going to continue to build. Caesar will come to here. And the Legion will stay there. Those are the moves. Let's do the combats. There's only one combat down here. The centaurs and stuff. So we've got flyers. They get a +1. Centaurs get a +1. No, it's not woods. It's not woods. Okay. Just clear. So it's just a +1 for the flyers. See if they can get an advantage on things. So let's see. They do not, and actually the defender gets the advantage. It's a 5-3. So that's good for them. Now I've got B's. Everything's a B here, so I gotta wait because the griffins are A's. Then their elephant is a B. So we're gonna shoot with these 2 A's. I get A2s. They better do well because with the Romans having the initiative, this could be pretty intense. So here we go. 4 shots. 1 hit. They get 1 hit. And I guess we'll take that on the Flamen. He's the least valuable unit. And now my bees get to shoot. Flamen. Back to the Roman Gods card. God of Death, return some souls. Add 1d3 steps. I can't add any steps to the Centaur. I don't have God. God of Fire causes a volcanic eruption. That could be pretty good. Mars. Can make him do a terror roll. Huh. Now we'll do a Vulcan. 4 dice at force 2 coming from them. Let's see what we can get. Volcanic eruption from the Flamen. 1 hit. So they'll do it. It's got to be on the Elephant. And now the Centaurs, who are force creatures, do B3, B3, 6 at B3. Those are pretty good units. See if we can tear them up. We could really tear into those griffins. That would be good. 6 at B3. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. And then the elephant for 4 hits. So the elephant's gone, and all they can do is retreat. So they better not stick around after that disaster. And they retreat to here. And now they can regroup if they want to. Flamen will go back, try to restore himself. That's it. That is it. And now it's the build phase. Let me take care of that. Okay, so we're working on turn 6 here. We need to get the initiative roll going. Let's check that out. A 10 and an 8 for the Huns. And looks like the Romans are ahead because the Persians only rolled a 2. So the Romans move first. So that's what they need to do. Really do need to do something about the situation here. Okay, so this has a C capacity of 1, so I can only transfer 1 unit. So I'll transfer this auxiliary 1, 2, 3, 4. It can go up there. And then we'll have enough force to try to take this back. These will go to this exit point at Cape Mars down here, if you can see that. I've allowed sea travel from here, so they're here now. And go 1, 2, 3, which is what they need to do. They need to get past this hex. So let's see. Over here. Well, Romans are pressed for time. They need to crack this line. Maybe they can make a move up Eagle Pass. That might be the right move rather than trying to cross over there to hit the Warlord. Although I do have this Legion. This is a Forest Legion. So it could go 1, 2. That's not a bad idea. Then I could send the... Yeah. Actually, no, I can't cross this. This is a estuary. It's not a river. You see, these wider ones aren't rivers. Rivers will have some land on both sides. So I can cross the river, but I don't think I can cross that other hex. Let me see. Yeah, they can cross rivers, but not all water hex sides. So that you can see rivers have land and water on them. So the auxiliary will have to wait. We'll have to send Caesar in with his legion and hope for the best. Okay. And then these guys better come up and try to join them. This auxiliary will stay down here. So we're looking up at this part of the map. This auxiliary will stay here. These guys are going to be reinforcements if they can get through there. That's a city legion. This auxiliary probably, it would be a good idea for him to block off that route. Now, as for the rest of these Romans, I've got a ballista, which is an A2 versus a Hunbo in A2. That's very tempting, but I really can't do it. The centaurs are holding the line. I've got to watch him coming over here. He's got a galley coming, 1, 2, 3. So Jujar can be taken. This can be taken. Belmar. I really can't hold them both. Okay, so I think holding the front line is a good idea. And this Flamen, I think this Flamen one, yeah, he'll take the sea route to Chelva. Okay. That's the best the Romans can do. So, these guys here. I'm holding the line here. Do I want to come and attack these with these bowmen and the wolves? Boy, that's tempting to come down here and try to take out these navvies. I can do a raid with my Hunbos. My Hunbos here, let's go back down to where I'm pointing. My Hunbos here will do a raid to take them on, hopefully. And we'll leave the wolves in the city here. The Scudar is being built up here, so we'll send this over to join the Scudar. Oh yes, the Romans need to probably, I'll just leave that there. This will stay here. Okay. I think it seems like the Romans should have had one being built here, didn't they? Or no, they built the Flamen there. And this guy here, I don't know what happened to him. Once you build, you can't go back. It's too late. Okay, so that's the Huns here. Now, do they want to come in and take on this auxilia? They've got Hun bows. You can actually send their camp in and take out the auxilia. Yes, let's go on the offensive here. The wolves will come in. That's actually a Hun bow. And the camp is a strong unit for the Huns. That's a good unit, actually. I'm going to use the camps. The mobile camps are quite useful. Then here, I'm going to send in my shaman for a fight. We're going to fight to the death here. And these guys can only go by sea. So I don't want to lose this. I'll leave the spearman here and move him by sea to here. So that's it for them. And now the Persians, aka Parthians, well, they need to try to, they can loop around this woods here. What have I got for woods? That's mountain. So he can go across the mountains. This Syrian is woods. So we can go through the woods. This satrap stay here. And any other mountain units? Nope. They can cross the river. So they'll stay there. They'll be useful for that. The griffins have been taken down a notch. This griffin will go back here to replenish. And this magus will come up with the satrap. I got two magi. And this griffin, well, why not? This griffin will fly over here. Actually, you know what? It'll fly here so we can go across. No, he'll fly to take it. Because I can bring the galley with a speed of 3 to help take that. And that's nice. Okay, these Assyrians can move up for 1, 2, 3. Let's move these guys up. There's these guys up. Okay, well, I've got to show what's going on here. Might need a little more light, huh? There we go. Bring to there. 1, 3 to there. 1, 2, 3 to there. This Assyrian will continue to build fortress. Immortals, city immortals, will continue to move to the front like that. Okay. Can't remember if this Assyrian moved. I don't think so. I'll move them here. Okay. And that's it for the Assyrians. So the Assyrians are not, or the Parthians, I suppose, of which Syrians are one of them. Assyrians are not attacking. So we've got 2 attacks. The first attack is by the Romans up here. So the Romans are attacking. Zoom in on the action. They've got their legion and their Caesar attacking the warlords, shamans, and swordsmen. So initiative is going to be important here. We've got woods for +1. And they have no woods. So yeah, So the Romans have a +1 here. Can they pull off an initiative coup? No. In fact, it was so bad that the Parthians won. Not the Parthians, the Huns. So they get to shoot first. Their A goes first, and they've got 4 at 2 from the warlord. This is not what the Romans needed. Not what the Romans needed. 1 hit from the warlord is going to hit a legion. And now the B's go in first. Now my A goes in. And it's a 3. So I'm better than their warlord. But I better be substantially better. I need to really hammer them out. Here comes the Caesar's Legion. Oh, he did it for 3 hits. So 3 hits. A shaman, a warlord, and I guess another shaman. Tough job on them. Okay, now the shaman comes into play. Hun gods. What kind of things can they do? Doubles the hit scored by the next friendly fire. Doubles the hits. A sword at a C2. That's not bad. Demon fire for any animal units. I don't have any animal units. Summon one unengaged wolf. My wolf is... Where's my wolf? These wolves got wiped out. I don't see my wolves anymore. Oh wait, it's over here. I could summon that. I'd rather keep that there though. Scourge of the Gods, Forest Demons, or I can bring peace to the Shaman Hex, advancing to the next combat round. Nah. We will send the demons as we immolate ourselves in fire. These shamans burn themselves up to bring demons to the hex. Alright, 1d3 forest demons. And it's 2 forest demons. 2 forest demons attack at 3F2. Okay, so 3d6 at F2. Oh, wait a second. 1d3 forest demons, so I got 2 of them, each firing 3F2. So that's 6. 6 dice. Oh, that's pretty good. More than I thought. You got 2 forest demons coming in. One-shot wonders. Need some 2s. Got 1 2 only. So that's going to be on Caesar. And now the C's go. I've got swords at C2. Oh, it's 3F3. 3F3. Sorry, because they're in a forest hex. So they actually got another hit on the Legion. And now the swordsman hits with 2 at C2. This is quite a bloody battle so far. No hits from the swordsman. And now it's the woods-based Legion with 2 shots at C4. 2 shots at C4. They miss with a 5 and 6. Terrible. Do we want to continue fighting? I don't know. I don't think I have an advantage here. We need to win the battle. Let's go for it. Caesar sticks around for another battle, even though the warlord himself has the initiative and attacks with 3 dice. Oh, sorry, I rolled Roman dice. Can't do that. Here we go. But misses. And now the Romans shoot back with Caesar at A3s. 2 hits. 2 hits. So 1 on Caesar and 1 more on the swordsman. So the warlord took a hit. And now I'm down to 1 swordsman at C2. Got a hit. This has been a bloody battle. I'll take it on Caesar, and now I've got C2 at C4 to try to finish these guys off. They better make it up for last time they blew it. 2 4s is enough. 2 hits. So that's 1, 2 warlords left. Round 3, warlord escapes. And I can regroup like this. Wow. Okay, what a battle. What a battle. But the Caesars have won. However, quite depleted. But so are they. And that's what these fleets are coming back for. So now we need to do this fight here. The camp followers, or the camp garrison, and the Hun bow. We will need to roll for initiative. This is in a forest hex, so nobody has initiative bonuses here. Let's do the auxiliary first. So, a 6 and a 2. Well, they did it. These Huns got initiative again. So they're going to be doing 4 at A2. 4 shots to take out the auxilias. 2 hits. Pretty severe. And then 3 shots from the camp at C3, who have the initiative. These Huns are just unstoppable. 2 more hits. And that takes care of them. And now they'll regroup to here and cut them off. That is probably a disaster for the Romans. One last attack. We've got this raid down here. They have an A3, so they get to do 3 shots first. They're just trying to take out some of these things. This is a clear hex, so no advantages for anybody. Trying to burn up some of these ships. Bam. Yahtzeed it. 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. 2 Bs back. These are B2s. The Navy, surprised. What can they do? 2 5s, no good. And now they'll stick around to wipe them out, probably. And let's go. Round 2. 2 more hits, and that's it. That sinks the Roman Navy. And then they can come back here. I'd say that ends it for the Romans. They just didn't have enough juice on these Huns. Okay, so I'll wrap this up with a quick statement here. Since the Romans really don't have a chance at this point to call the game as a victory for the barbarians, the Romans really needed to press forward some more. These guys are just too strong. I'll have to cut back. This is a playtest, this is my second playtest of this. I already cut the Huns back, but they need to be cut back some more. And maybe I need 2 navies over here instead of just 1. I've got 4 navis. So maybe I'll add a navis to the Romans, take one of these Hun bows off, and keep the 2 navies over here for the Romans. Juice them up a bit. Obviously the Parthians are quite strong, as that's intended. They might be a little bit too strong here. I don't have enough troops to really stop them. I hadn't quite figured out the objectives for the Parthians here. What do they have to take? We could call it a draw if they took 2 of these cities, or if they already took those cities too. I'd say the Romans can't lose more than 2 points of cities, and they have to take 7 points of cities from the Huns. So either they got to take the capital, or they have to take everything else. Okay, they need navies to do that part, which is possible because the Huns don't have navies. So that's how you kind of play with these games if you want to. I think 10 turns is good for this. It's interesting how 10 turns really does work, as long as you can move the gold pieces around and use them to build things up near the front. Let them travel at a speed of 3 on the roads. Use them to bring treacherous gold to the build points that are already in the city, and have a good time with it. So, there we go. Romans versus barbarians. Even with a sneak attack, the Romans couldn't quite pull it off, but it's quite fun. And this is very typical. Now, if you're playing Wizard Kings, You're going to have a lot more fantasy elements, a lot more spells, a lot more weird things happening. Chaos units, lycanthropic units. This brings a little more orderliness to it. I think the idea was bring this in as sort of a counterpart or similar to Battlelore 1, where there's a lot of Battlelore 1 battles that are just medieval infantry versus cavalry type battles. Whereas this one, Wizard Kings can be quite different than that. So this adds a more of a regular kind of army, still with a little bit of mythological flavor. So quite fun, highly recommend it. Really hard to get enough units to play if you order it through their system. I understand what they were trying to do was to try to make a collectible idea out of it. Didn't quite work out for Columbia Games as far as I'm concerned, but I think they're wise to sell these treasure chests. I have the Wizard King's treasure chest. I have this one. This is the Ancient King's treasure chest. Excellent games. Much more fun, probably multiplayer, because as you can see, I had to play just to speed things up and to show the combat. Everybody knew what everybody had, and that's one thing. You can't really solitaire this very well, unfortunately. You can sort of make sort of a campaign out of it. And that's one reason I've added the initiative roll to give the attacker more of an impetus to succeed, without guaranteeing that they're going to be able to attack first, but at least it's not a guarantee that they never will. This avoids the turtling problem and encourages attacks. I might try to figure out another element of intelligence rolls related to, since I'm an omniscient player, I can see everything that's on the map. How can I make it a little more fog of war-ish to play this? Don't know. It's a little bit tedious. I mean, you could, for example, pick up all these units, and if it's the Roman turn, you face them towards yourself. If it's not the Roman turn, you face them back and then try to forget what was there. You can goof around with something like that. However, I find that too tedious for my taste. So some other intelligence roll might be useful. Maybe allow a surprise unit to be brought into the battle if you roll high enough for the attacker or high enough for the defender as part of a separate roll. You'd have an intelligence roll and an initiative roll. Part of the fun of these gods, of course, is you can bring in units from other parts of the map, especially for the Huns. The Romans have a good knack of destroying ships in port with theirs. I haven't even tried to do some of the higher spells. Let's see what the Roman Jupiter spell does. King of the Gods grants friendly units double strength in their next fire. So that would be good. If you spend 3 Flamen points, everything doubles its strength in the next fire. That's great if you have legions. You set up the Flamen, does his sacrificial 3-point spell or prayer, and all the legions and auxiliaries that are level C are doubled in firepower. And that's quite an impressive one. And now here's the Hun God one. Tingri, the Sky Father, creator of everything, adds 1d3 plus 1 steps to friendly units, but not to the shaman. So with the Tengri, you could have sort of a screening force and all of a sudden multiply it from 1 step to a full step wolf unit or full step Assyrians all of a sudden out of nowhere. Quite fun, really. And that does fit in with the undead faction, which is what they're with. Persian gods, their top spell, Mazda. Okay, Mazda. Lord of the Gods. Attacks once at 6 F3. That's 6 dice at strength 3 or 8 F in the desert. And with targeting. Wow. So normally when you do spells, they can only spread the damage, or attacks spread out the damage. Targeting allows you to specifically, all right, Caesar, you're out here in the middle of the desert. Here's the Tangri spell, or the Mazda spell. All of these dice are rolled at you. And try to take him out. Oh, wow. Okay. It's a one-time attack. Could be strong. 8F, F3. 8 dice at F3, but sometimes you'll roll 8 hits and sometimes you roll 1 or 0. So these single dice systems are quite exciting like that. So a lot of excitement in the game. Great multiplayer game. Sadly, I've only solitaired this over the years. I've never ever wound up. One of my friends had a game group once that he did, but I had moved out of town. And all the players here in England, now that I live here, they tend to either go for Euro games, which I am not partial to, or they do the miniatures tabletop games, Warhammer and stuff like that, which is, again, not my cup of tea, as I don't want to get into the painting and all that entails. So that's my life. But I've enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumb, give me a like, give me a comment. See you later. Bye.